Ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Texans have put out their 53-man roster. So this video might be a little long, guys. So I do apologize for that. I am a little stoned at the moment. So if I trail off, that's absolutely my fault. Give me 1 second. Let me take a sip real quick. But the Houston Texans did have an interesting day. We heard more Deshaun Watson trade rumors. Everyone was looking at their Twitter every 2 minutes. Is this dude going to get traded right now? The thought was that because we had to cut down our roster to the 53 man, that means that we had to either keep him or trade him. The Houston Texans ended up keeping him, and that's a whole video in and of itself. I will go over all that tomorrow. And let's talk about this 53 man because I think it's actually, I think we've improved in a lot of areas, and I do think we've digressed in a lot of areas, and I do think at some we've stayed the same. Um, Starting at the quarterback position, this is an obvious we downgraded. We don't have Deshaun Watson, we have Tyrod Taylor, and we have Davis Mills. Tyrod Taylor looked interesting the first 2 weeks. He looked like the quarterback who could be like a game manager, someone who's going to come in, who's not going to, who's going to put you in position to win you games, but definitely not going to absolutely go out there and lose you games. And then he had just a horrible outing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pretty much the whole first starting offense and starting defense had issued against that Tampa Bay starting O and defense. But that's what happens when you're a big, a team that's trying to rebuild, going against a team that returned all 22 of its starters and is going against, going to get their second Super Bowl probably with Tom Brady. Tom Brady looked absolutely damn good. No stopping that man. But the quarterback position, I think, was, downgrade. Moving on to the running backs, I think, is a good one. We are going to keep 5 of them. The Houston Texans will be a running back by committee. Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Rick Burkhead, and this man absolutely earned this spot. Scotty Phillips, shout out to you, brother. This running back core, I think, has potential. And what I mean by potential is you're not going to know who to game plan for. And at any moment, hopefully, one of these players can go off. We've seen that pretty much this preseason. Scotty Phillips has pretty much gone on the whole preseason. We saw good things from Mark Ingram, good things from Lindsay, good things from David Johnson as well. Burkhead, we haven't really seen that much, but we know what he could do. A guy who is an absolute threat in the run and definitely in the pass game. I just want to see how they integrate him into this offense. Who's going to get, are they going to ride the hot hand? Who's going to get the most of the carries? It's obviously going to be situational football for these running backs. So we're going to see, but it's one to absolutely keep your eye on. This is obviously an upgrade. Now, these next two, position groups, I think it's tough. I think the wide receiving core, you could say that, it's a little bit of an upgrade being Brandon Cooks, Chris Conley, Nico Collins, Anthony Miller, Andre Roberts. No Kiki QT. Kiki QT is no longer a member of the Houston Texans. He had a good run for us. He just really couldn't put it together. He was in Bill O'Brien's doghouse, and, Bill O'Brien gave him chances to get out of it, couldn't do it, and then, those 2 fumbles in the end zone last year for Kiki QT. We knew this. We knew this was going to be a hard camp for Kiki with Anthony Miller coming in. And I'm sorry, but Anthony Miller, we do know, has been there. Can be productive. I just hope Kiki Kuti, man, wherever he goes, he is successful. This wide receiving core, I think, could be an upgrade for the Houston Texans. You don't have Will Fuller, but you kind of never have Will Fuller. Right? Chris Conley last season played pretty much the whole season, 700 yards. Brandon Cooks last season, 1,000 yards. We have high hopes for Nico Collins. Anthony Miller, we know could be a damn good wide receiver in the league. He just needs to take the next step. Andre Roberts, your special team guy. I like this wide receiver group. I do think, pretty much all of these groups is going to be an upgrade over last year because we were so damn bad. But this next group is, a little iffy. The tight end, Jordan Akins, Farrell Brown, and Brevin Jordan. I love Akins and Brown combo because, they're 2 different types of tight ends. Farrell Brown is obviously the physical guy, the guy who's a good blocker. And when he catches that ball, he is going to run you over. He's going to stiff arm you. We've seen him do it in games. Jordan Akins is that finesse tight end, that guy who could run routes, who could get yards after the catch. And then you have rookie Brevin Jordan, who we're all expecting to be, a star for this Houston Texans team. A lot of people were saying that he is a gem, and I really want to see it. The water polo tight end couldn't make it and has been cut by three other teams, man. Kahali wearing, Bill O'Brien did not do his job. Moving on to the offensive line, I'm going to say this is an upgrade right off the bat just because of the coaching change from Mike Devlin to James Campman, Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, Max Sharpen, Justin Britt, Charlie Heck, Garen Christian, Justin McCray, and Marcus Cannon here. I do think the starting offensive line is going to be Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, Justin Britt, Max Sharpen, and either Charlie Heck or Marcus Cannon. And that's entirely dependent on Marcus Cannon. When he comes back, if he comes back healthy, will he be better right then and there than someone who's been working this offseason and has been playing damn good? And Charlie Heck is going to be interesting to see. I do think this offensive line has a lot of potential for the future. When you have building blocks like Tunsil, like Titus Howard, can Max Sharpen and can Charlie Heck be that as well? It's going to be absolutely insane to see. But this is a huge upgrade for the Houston Texans, because you got new players, you got coaching change, and they're shifting things around. I don't know how you don't sign up for that. The defensive line, I'm just going to go say, it's kind of iffy on here. This is one of those things where I think, damn, I don't know if we got good or we got worse, from last year. Obviously, we lost J.J. Watt, but, if we're being honest, J.J. Watt was one of the reasons why our defense was bad. Had no discipline whatsoever, doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do. But, hey, that's the kind of power that he gets when you're a three-time defensive champ of the NFL. No one's going to tell you anything. No one's telling J.J. Watt that he's doing anything wrong. But you have Whitney Merciless, Malik Collins, Vincent Taylor, Charles Omenihu, Jordan Jenkins, Big Sexy Roy Lopez, Jonathan Grenard, DeMarcus Walker, Jacob Martin, and Ross Blacklock. I'm more excited for the interior of the line of being the Malik Collins, Ross Blacklock, and Roy Lopez. Jaleel Johnson unfortunately got cut. I really thought he was going to make the team. He had two damn good games against the Green Bay Packers, and then the Cowboys get in. Tackles for loss, those two forced fumbles, and then he didn't really have a good game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But which first and second stringer didn't? I wanted to see him make the team. He was obviously shocked by it, but this is Nick Casario's team, and Nick Casario we trust. Malik Collins and Ross Blacklock, I think, are going to be starting defensive tackles, which obviously means they're going to heavily rely on Roy Lopez. Can he be ready? Roy Lopez has looked impressive. 2.5 sacks in the preseason. Almost had a sack every single game. I like this interior defensive tackles. The defensive ends is something that I want to see who is going to start alongside of Charles Omenihu. Is it going to be Jordan Jenkins? Is it going to be Whitney Merciless? Maybe it's going to be DeMarcus Walker, Jonathan Grenard, Jacob Martin. I want to know. Charles Omenihu, we have huge expectations for. Whitney Merciless, even though we're paying him a fat amount of money, we want to see him take a step back. We want to see, more of the Jordan Jenkins who had 7 sacks last year for the Jets. We want to see what we have in Jonathan Grenard. A guy who led the SEC in sacks, who led the SEC in tackles for loss. We want to see Jacob Martin. I would love to see if they first started Jacob Martin on the opposite side of Charles Omenihu. Put this hand in the dirt and let him go after the quarterback. We've been waiting for Jacob Martin for almost 2 to 3 years. It's time to see what we really have in him. The linebacking core, I think, is an absolute upgrade, because you have guys who could all be starting linebackers. Zach Cunningham is a guy who just was one of the leaders in the NFL in tackles. You know what you get. I'm sorry. You know what you get in Zach Cunningham, a tackling machine, a guy who's decent in coverage. Christian Kirksey is going to be the leader of this defense this year, a guy who is great in coverage, can do great things against the run. Gruger here Guger Hill made it almost impossible for the Houston Texans to cut him. Kevin Pierre-Louis, another linebacker who's absolutely great in coverage. And one guy who I absolutely love, Neville Hewitt, had over 100 tackles last season for the New York Jets. You can't get rid of that man. And also rookie Garrett Wallow. I think you have a lot of depth here. You obviously have a lot of linebackers who are more built for this type of NFL, who could, drop back in coverage and do damn good things. I'm excited for this linebacking core. As for you guys, I'm so excited for this defense in general. Under Lovie Smith. And, with the cornerbacks, you have Bradley Roby, Terrace Mitchell, Vernon Hargreaves, Desmond King, Tremont Smith, and Tavir Thomas. This secondary we really haven't seen tested. Well, we really saw him get tested against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but that's Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's going to do that to almost every single team. I know they're going to do good against the Jacksonville Jaguars because the Jacksonville Jaguars are not a good team. I really don't know yet how good these cornerbacks can be. It's interesting. Desmond King didn't have a good showing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vernon Hargreaves hasn't looked good at all. Guys, I hate Vernon Hargreaves. Tremont Smith has looked good. Bradley Roby has looked good as well. We're going to see, man. We're going to see. This cornerback group is going to be interesting. The safety position, Justin Reed, Lonnie Johnson, A.J. Moore, Terrence Brooks, and Eric Murray. This safety core, I think, can be interesting. I do see it being Justin Reed and Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson, you have high hopes for him. You think that he's finally found his place at safety. We have been praying for him to be moved to safety ever since we've drafted him. We want to see Justin Reed bounce back. He had a horrible year last year. Can you be the defensive leader that we thought you were? Can you be one of the captains on this defense and as a starting safety for this team? As your special team, Kaimi Fairbairn, John Weeks, and that badass punter, Cameron Johnson. Let me know what you guys think about this 53-man video, guys. As always, go Houston Texans. I really think this team is interesting. I want to give you guys how much, like a prediction video pretty soon. But let me know what you guys think. As always, go Texans. You guys have a blessed day.